Well, a new report released by the Department of Education raises a lot of questions about in-school punishments and school-related arrests. As Education Secretary Arne Duncan put it, the sad fact is that minority students across America face much harsher discipline than non-minorities, even within the same school. So according to the Civil Rights Data Collection statistics from 2009 to 2010, more than 70% of students involved in-school related arrests or cases referred to law enforcement were Hispanic or African American. Although black students made up only 18% of those enrolled in the schools sampled, they accounted for 35% of those suspended once, 46% of those suspended more than once, and 39% of all expulsions. Now, overall, black students are more than 3 times more likely as their white peers to be suspended or expelled. And in districts that reported expulsions under zero-tolerance policies, Hispanics and black students represented 45% of the student body, but 56% of those expelled. Now, these statistics were gathered from 72,000 schools in 7,000 districts, which means that they cover about 85% of the nation's students.
So why is this student 3 times more likely to be suspended than this student?
Of course, data are valuable for people running schools and school systems. Some of this, though, is not within the control of the schools. Some of the kids who are being disciplined are coming from troubled homes and troubled neighborhoods and bringing a host of problems with them into the school, that the school, which has actually occupies a very small fraction of their lives, the school cannot solve all by itself. So I don't want to lay the entire burden here on schools. There's some larger societal issues here too. You can look at criminal incarceration rates in the justice system too, and see similar disparities. But some people do commit crimes, and just similarly, some kids don't behave well in school.
And you're referring to disparities that go beyond the punishment question.
Way beyond the punishment question. They also go to the academic achievement question, as Chris Edley was saying, to the teacher quality question. to whether you learned what you should have in 6th grade in order that you can be successful in 7th grade, because if you're not successful in 7th grade, you're more likely to act out. And if you act out, you're more likely to be thrown out, which is, of course, a vicious cycle that begins way back probably in 1st grade.
If schools are throwing kids out, suspending, expelling, this kind of discipline, then it's absolutely certain that you're driving those kids away from a commitment to academic achievement. And in that sense, this is just not good for society. We're focused on try to improve not just the equity, but the overall excellence of our schools, because we care about the opportunity for individual kids, but also because we know that America as a whole can't have the security, can't have the prosperity we want if we continue to run dropout factories as high schools and discard 30–40% of our human capital. So it's the smoking gun aspect of this that I think is most instructive for those of us who are concerned with school reform as a whole. Interestingly, as bad as zero-tolerance policies are, and I think they are terrible, and I think they're a civil rights problem, in schools where there is a zero-tolerance policy, the disparities between minorities and white kids shrink. So, in fact, it's the discretion that's used in the context of discipline or in the context of referring kids to special education where implicit bias may play a role, where the inability, the professional under-training, if you will, of teachers may come to the fore as a factor in creating the different treatment of kids.